Hello, this is part 3 of building an animatronic prairie dog. In the last two parts, we looked at his mechanical build, including his three functions: lifting, sniffing, and moving his arms. In this part, we're going to look at the electronics, his final assembly, and animations. So if you haven't seen the first two, go check those out and then come back here. Now let's get into it. First, let's look at the electronics. The audio player of choice is the DF player. Actually, can you even see that in that mess? Me neither. Can we get someone to work on that? Yeah, thank you. The DF Mini is the audio player of choice for this project, and the speaker is just a simple little cheap 1-inch speaker off Amazon. I chose this board mainly because it operates completely separately from the Arduino, so this doesn't use any of the Arduino's power or any processing off the Arduino. Plus, it's really cheap. On my very first animatronic, I actually attempted to use a second Arduino and an SD card module like this to play the audio on the Arduino, then ran it through a really poorly built amplifier on a breadboard, and that just wasn't good in any way. It's not good for audio or sound quality or playing which files you want or controlling when the audio stops and starts or really anything useful. Also in the electronics of the Prairie Dog is an SD card module like this. It's just there to store the animations in the form of a CSV file, or a comma-separated value file. We'll take a look at how the animations work in a future video, but for now you just need to know that the animations are all stored on the SD card inside the Prairie Dog. Towards the bottom of the board, I have pin headers for the servos connect to, and two L7805 voltage regulators. These are linear voltage regulators that give 5 volts and up to 1 amp. In hindsight, it would have been better to use buck converters like Mini 360 regulators. These are more efficient, so they use less power to convert, and they can supply up to 3 amps, which would allow me to just use one instead of 2 of them. At the heart of the electronics is an Arduino Nano that runs all the animations on the servos. And it tells the DF player when to start the appropriate audio when the animation starts. I chose the Nano because it's super small, pretty cheap, and it's plenty powerful computational wise to run the simple animations. And oh yeah, there's a little button on front to press to start the animation. Alright, we have the mechanisms and we have all the electronics. All we need now are two things: the box we'll put him in and his skin. The box should be easy, we really just need to will that into existence. But the skin is going to be a little harder. We need to find a prairie dog and capture it. We start our adventure by leaving the office, a very rare occasion indeed. There he is, hiding under a tree. Look at his magnificence as he hides under the tree. A prairie dog under a tree is a very rare sight, only seen about once a decade. It's considered good luck to see a prairie dog under a tree in many cultures, but all I see is a perfectly good skin. Alright, now we have the skin, but we still need the box. For this, we just need to will it into existence. On 1, the box will appear right next to the prairie dog. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Ah, dang it. Let's give it another try. On 1, remember. 3, 2, 1. Yes! That totally worked. My dad built this box for him. The box is the right size for the prairie dog and has 3/8-inch fillets on every side. It also has a nice acrylic backing so you can look straight into the back and see all the mechanics working. And the button goes on the front, like I said, and the speaker just attaches to one side. With that, all we have left is to put everything in the box and get the animations going. difference in how he looks. He looks much more filled out. Assembly wasn't too bad. The only hard part was getting the screws that hold the tower in. They're at an angle, so you had to put the screwdriver in the box, but there was no good way to hold the screwdriver in there. It was an ordeal. So, let's check out the animations I made him after this. I made him 5 separate animations, and the audio was, let's say, borrowed from nature documentaries. I put a lot of effort into the animations and the little movements in them, like the little up and down or little jittering or anything like that. So, let's go check them out. When you press a button on the front, an animation is played. But it's not just a random animation. I actually used the technique from Tetris, of all places. When he's first plugged in, he picks a random order of the 5 animations chosen. After the sequence is played through by pressing the button 5 separate times, he picks a new random sequence. And this is better than pure random because it assures you won't see repeats and that you'll see all the animations the same number of times. After this point, it was time to give the prairie dog to my grandma. She loved it. He's even received a little face mask during his time with my grandma. So what did I learn from making an animatronic prairie dog? I think the biggest thing I learned is that you don't need a lot of functions in an animatronic to make it look good. You just need to choose the right functions. You need the most visible, and you don't need to add a dozen motors in for every little movement. A prairie dog's ears don't need to wiggle. Once you have the right movements, use the animation to combine the functions of the movements to create an illusion of more motion. So if he's moving up and down and slightly wiggling like the animations I put in do, then it looks like he's moving more than he actually is. I also got some good insight on how boating cables work, and I now know that I need thicker tubing and to use the thicker and stronger Dyneema. With this new knowledge and experience, I'll be working on more advanced robotic projects in the future. So to see those, make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you're notified when new videos go up. Thanks for watching.